of the program that you were able to participate with the Broncos in?
It was the Bill Walsh Minority Internship Program that they have in the NFL across, all 32 teams in the NFL.
Okay. What was the process for you to get selected for the fellowship?
Originally, the process, it really took place as far as being able to, take a resume, send it out to, as many teams as you can, and then those teams being able to evaluate, just like a job, evaluate those resumes, and a lot of it has to do with, having some connections to that particular organization, and I had a connection, at this particular organization as I went through the process, so it kind of helped, push the paperwork, so to speak, up to the I wouldn't say top of the pack, but it kind of puts you in a different category to where you do then get selected. And I've done this for the last 3 or 4 years, and I haven't had just a ton of, luck, getting into that position. And I was able to get an email back from another organization, which was the official application process that you have to go through. And then once you go through this application process, if you make kind of the certain cut, the application process, it's an online, process that, I had to write, 500-word paper, send in another resume, and then I had to select my top 5 organizations that I would like to be a part of. And then at that point, 3 weeks later, another organization from my top 5 would call me and then offer me the position as far as the internship for the summer throughout mini camp and training camp.
Okay. What is it that you did as part of your fellowship with the Broncos?
Just a lot of different stuff that they had me do from, not so much breaking down film, but more breaking down, our practice film, being able to input certain things that they were looking for throughout their training camp. I work with the running backs position, so I was real close with the running backs coach and working with him and, just drill work and, just different things to kind of advance the players as far as just them picking up their scheme offensively throughout, training camp and mini camp.
Okay. What did you gain from this that you can see helping the ECU football program?
A lot of different things. I mean, you can take away from a scheme standpoint, especially for me being, the offensive coordinator here, I was able to take away some just little detail things from a scheme standpoint. From a team standpoint, you're able to, because these guys, at that particular level, they have a lot of different things that really help improve, the player from an all-around perspective, from health to dietitian, how they eat, and to the amount of meeting times, how they ran meetings, and so I was able to bring a lot of different things from just a organizational standpoint, and then also some things from a scheme standpoint. Just little details, things that we may think about even here at East Central, but not really say, okay, we won't try this yet, and then you start kind of really seeing how it works firsthand. And then okay, let's try to implement some of these things as we move forward. And there's some things that, you really like that you say, well, we may not be able to do those things quite yet, but eventually we can start moving forward to that from a scheme standpoint.
Okay. And just personally, what was the experience like for you to be able to be part of something like that?
It was a really, just personally, you always have a perception on what you assume or think that situation is going to be like, getting the internship, working with the organization. But just for me personally, it was completely different. There were some things that I kind of felt would happen, but just the relationships, those guys were very open to a variety of things. And every day, guys were introducing themselves, from players to coaches to, PR staff to video staff, and they're all just real, open and welcoming, as guys come in, and I mean they'll pretty much give you access to anything you would need or want, but very kind. I mean, sometimes you don't expect that from people. Sometimes they put a guard up and like, hey, there's only certain things that I'm gonna do for you. But they did a really good job. I really enjoyed being around that particular staff and those people. And I'd heard a lot of great things about the staff prior to getting the internship, and it definitely held true to all the things that people had shared with me about who that staff and who certain people were on that staff. And it was really a great experience. I mean, and like even here, we bus to places. There you fly, and I was had the privilege of being able to work with a preseason game, their first preseason opener against San Francisco, and it was quite the experience by itself. So.